saying, as I've learned, saying chai tea is, you know, my tripod is giving me grief, as we say. I think the thing is, there's these, what do you call? Do you see? It's just falling. There's screws underneath that have gotten loose, and I need to tighten them. Baby is sleeping. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed for him to sleep. That's why I'm going to keep it on the DL. Okay, so, don't look at this. It's a really dead petršil. Dobro jutro, good morning. It's 9:30. Do we still say good morning? As I've learned lately, no, you don't. Okay, I'm gonna make chai. Chai tea is supposedly redundant because chai means tea, so it's like saying a tea or a tea latte, a tea latte. I'm gonna have a chai tea latte. Chai latte. Okay, Bennett works in 7, just being silly. Okay, so I have over here the end. I need to put this on my grocery list. A ginger root, fresh ginger root from the store. Quite expensive stuff, but quite honestly, quite worth it. If you don't want to use ginger, you can cheat your way a little bit with whatever I can't find right now. It's the ginger powder, like the ground dry ginger. You can use that, not quite the same. So, what I do, first I gotta turn on my hot water and get my water hot. Luckily, I really got it hot before this, so it doesn't need much. God, it makes so much noise. So I take some ginger root, fresh ginger. I slice it up, I put it in with my tea, and I steep that. I let that get nice and good and steeped. And then I add black tea. Now, usually black tea is caffeinated, but I don't drink caffeine, so I do a decaf Earl Grey. Delicious. All right, let's see if we can make this work. As Tim Gunn would say, make it work. So that you can see a little of my fancy knife work. It would help if I had washed my knife before. So, now, fresh ginger, quite spicy. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Okay, so, fresh ginger, quite spicy. I think I'm going to turn around the camera for this so that you get a real nice view. If the interface will work. There we go. So, ta-da. We have our tea. God, my tripod is not working for nothing right now. My beautiful teapot that I love dearly. Couple of pieces of ground fresh ginger. Now, if you like your tea nice and spicy, feel free to add as much as you want. If you don't like it too spicy, add less. Oh, sons of guns. What am I going to do about this? Okay, there we go. Seems to be happy. Now, the next thing I have is my actual tea. This is a tea blend. I think it's called like Ayurvedic low stress or something. But it's got fennel, it's got orange peel, my favorite, it's got cardamom in there. It's really fragrant. I basically went into the tea shop, Zisha, shout out to Zisha, and I asked for something that was, because chai tea, if you get just chai, it usually is caffeinated already. But I asked for something that felt like chai and would be decaf. So you can ask your What is a tea professional called? I don't know. 2 scoops of that. You know, I think having your tea in beautiful containers makes it taste better. That's just my personal opinion. And then you cover that with hot water and let it steep. Now what I do is I cover it with hot water, but I leave some space, just like so. Because when I'm going to add my black tea, I'm going to add some more water. All right, now you know. So, set this back up like so. We're copacetic. Now, the black tea that I have is in this one. And this one, oh my gosh, it smells so good. It's like very fresh, fragrant, floral, citrus, very much like bergamot. I mean, isn't that mainly what Earl Grey is? Something like bergamot? It smells like, no. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Anyway, once this has steeped for a while, I'm going to put in about 2 teaspoons of this because I like it dark. Plus, it's a whole teapot. I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of this and then cover that with more hot water. In fact, I'm just going to turn on my water to keep it nice and hot. And then I'm going to steep that for maybe, it makes so much noise, getting all these notifications. I'm going to steep that for just 2-3 minutes, maybe. I'm really hot. That's one thing that this tea is really good for. If you tend to run cold, which I usually do, not anymore, but if you tend to be very cold, or you're going to be outside and you know it's going to be really cold, this tea is a game changer because ginger really warms you up. And for a long time I was drinking this tea, and then shortly thereafter, throughout the rest of the day, I would be so hot, and I was like, I feel like I'm about to melt. I'm dying. I can't take this. Why am I so hot? I'm not used to this. And then I realized, oh, it's my tea, which is lovely. Actually, you know what? I'll turn that off, and I'll just heat up my teapot because it's a cast iron teapot. I can do that. So I'll just keep the tea hot that way. That's brilliant. See, YouTube, figuring this out, solutions together. Isn't that lovely? How did I discover this tea? I don't know. Let me think. I think a long, long time ago, I watched a video of Diane Von, what's her name? She's a designer. She's a clothing designer. Diane Von something. I feel really stupid for not knowing this. Anyways, she talked about how she made a tea with hot water, ginger, lemon. And I think I was sick or I had a sore throat or something. And so I made myself tea, and I put in some extra ginger and some lemon and some honey. And I was like, wow, that's really good. Then I just kind of started messing with it. And I got this. I watched another video about how to make a proper chai, like the kind of chai you would have in some part of India, because I'm sure that it's different for each part of India. And watching that video, I was like, that looks delicious. And since I've been trying to cut back a little bit with coffee, I thought, well, I'll try this. And I have to say, it's been a pretty pleasant exchange. Obviously, tea and coffee are very different. I personally prefer coffee, but I think tea has health benefits and coffee doesn't. Like, I don't know if coffee has any health benefits. I don't think it's particularly unhealthy for you, depending on how much you drink of it and what you drink it with. But tea actually has really good stuff in it for you. been? I don't know because I didn't time this. Usually I can tell by looking at the tea, you know, because the tea is all dried out. So when it expands, that's when you're like, yeah, it's really nice and saturated, I guess. Okay. So then this is my favorite. You know, the thing that sucks about living in a foreign country for as long as I have is that you become really bad at both languages. Like, I can't think in Slovene, I can't think in English, I can't switch back and forth between the two. Although I have noticed that that gets really bad during pregnancy and afterwards during breastfeeding, and then it gets a little bit better when the baby starts to get older. So I think a big part of your brain just switches over to take care of your baby and doesn't come back. So anyways, thermos. This is one of my favorite. This is my favorite thermos. And who makes this? I can't remember. Simply Modern, I think. Simple Modern. Okay, Simple Modern. And this thing keeps your drink hot forever. Or cold. That's the best part. I just want to get a different lid. Like this lid, it's not so good anymore. I need a new lid. So anyways, but this thing, this puppy, man, in the summertime, I put my ice drink in here. I put this on it. I put a straw in it. And it stays nice and cold for a long time. And in the winter, I put my hot stuff in it, and it still stays nice and hot. Also, about this drink, you can make it hot or cold. It tastes delicious both ways. Okay, I think I'm ready. I'm gonna switch the camera around. For the benefit of the viewer, I care because I care, dear YouTube. So, I really appreciate you all just like hanging with me on the fly with these videos. Not really making videos, but doing my best to stay connected. Okay. Oh, beautiful, fragrant, delicious Earl Grey decaf. I actually get this from Cha. So I get this from Cha in the center, the tea shop there, and I get this one, the chai, from Zisha. Okay. And then I cover it with more nearly boiling water, just so that it's nice and covered. Not too much, because you don't want diluted tea. You want your tea to be really flavorful. I think that's why this is such a, turn the camera back around, this is such a winner. What a lovely view. I think that's one of the reasons why this tea is such a good tea, because I make it really strong. You can see Isaac's little basketball hoop over there. He likes to pretend he's Luka Doncic. Okay, so we're gonna let this steep for about 2-3 minutes. The thing is, if you let black tea steep any longer, it starts to become really bitter. And I've kind of forgotten about it before, where I leave it and I go do something or have to change the baby's diaper, and then I'm like, oh no, my tea. And I go back and I make the tea and it just doesn't taste good. And in that case, you know, a lot of the times I would just make myself eat it because I can't stand waste. Make myself drink it. But lately I've just been like, you know, it won't kill me if I toss it out and start again. I don't do it very often, so 2 teaspoons of wasted tea is not going to kill me. But that's why you have to, this takes a little bit of love. It's a little bit of love to get this drink right. So, once again, we're going to recap the chai tea, the chai tea blend, and the fresh ginger. Steep that for about 10 minutes. And then the Earl Grey black tea for about 2-3 minutes, 5 max. Otherwise it gets bitter. And then, now this is what I do in the meantime. I prepare my thermos. So I get out my oat milk. You can use whatever milk you want. I personally like oat milk. I try a bunch of different kinds of oat milks. This was the one at Hofer. DM carries one. It's like a barista version that's supposed to foam. It does foam. It's really good. Now, it depends how much you like. This is about this much. So it's not a whole lot given how much is in here. I'm thinking, is that enough? Maybe I'll do a little splash more. A little splash more. And then I'm gonna add a nice spoonful of honey. And I'm gonna use my long spoon. Sorry you're not seeing my whole face. It's like I said, if you want to see me, this is how it has to happen. All right, so then I just, nice big, delicious, put that in there. I also like doing it this way because the little bit of oat milk out of the fridge cools the tea just enough that I can drink it right away. And then my lovely thermos keeps it nice and hot. So there's really no point in stirring this because the milk is cold and the honey is not going to melt or dissolve. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. I'll turn you around. We got the fabulous thermos. I'm just really unsure about this tripod. I don't trust it. I don't. Tell me in the comments below how annoying is this on a scale of 1 to 7. Because I don't know if you caught that video, but Luka does only 1 to 7. He doesn't really believe in the whole 1 to 10. He says there's too many variables. It's a very engineer thing to say. Okay, I can feel that the honey is like not totally dissolving because it's not quite warm enough yet. Now, I'm a little concerned about the color of this tea because normally this tea will come out really dark. But maybe that's because I was I did too much. Now, I kind of mix and go because I find that it's much harder to mix it thoroughly when the tea is so full. Okay, I'm making way too much noise right now. And then I just fill it up. Look how nicely this pours. Is that not the most beautiful pour? I love this teapot so much. Okay, that's that. So it's this nice and creamy color. Okay. Jeez. Oh my Lord. Okay, literally right after this, I'm going to find some screwdrivers and tighten this thing. The thing is, they're very unusual screws on the bottom. Oh my gosh, it smells so divine. Really hot still. It's not as spicy as I thought it would be. It's really yummy though. So then I put my little lid on it, and the nice thing is it will stay hot for hours. Hours. The only problem is right now I'm not I'm not hot. No. Right now I'm not cold at all. So I could stand 0 warming up because I'm so hot. I'm like, I think I need to go outside and sit outside in the nice cool air. Oh man, that's really good. we're really fortunate because it is supposed to be super warm today, like nice and warm. Something like 20 degrees Celsius, and can't wait. I am so excited for summer and spring and warm weather. You know, at the end of the day, one of my favorite things to do is rip my socks off, because I think growing up in California, all throughout the winter, I would be barefoot. You know, like my siblings and I, we never ever wore socks unless we were putting on shoes to go out. But like I would even run outside to go get firewood for our fire, and I would literally I would just like run outside barefoot, get the wood and bring it back in, rather than finding socks, putting on shoes and going outside. And very different climate from here. And so wearing socks all day here is like really unenjoyable for me. Oh, is he waking up? So I love to, at the end of the day, take my socks off. And one of the things that's really unpleasant about living here is that I only get that really nice summer feeling months from, well, as the Slovenes say, months that don't have R in them. So that would be June, July, and August. 3 months out of 12. And in California, it's like 12 out of 12. Maybe 11 out of 12. That it's not too bad. Really, though, where I grew up, it was like, we got snow and everything. It was mostly January and February. Like December, it's like the last part of December that gets cold. But if you got snow, it was usually in February, and then we're right back to summer in March. So it's nice because you get like all the seasons, but very short, tiny baby winter. And here it's just like, will it ever end? I feel like every year I get really hopeful because March turns out like the end of March gets nice, and then April's like beautiful spring, and then May is just like whatever the winter form of hellfire is, because May is like cold, rainy, windstorms, ice storms, hailstorms, and then June is like nice again. And it's just don't know if that's what we'll have this year, but I do see a pattern, is all I'm saying. Anyway, that is my chai recipe. Thanks for hanging out with me. Casper's starting to wake up, so perfect timing. We did it, y'all. And yeah, these videos are kind of on the fly. I would like to say I'll be here every Monday or every whatever day. What day is it? Wednesday. I'd like to say that. But my life right now is very unpredictable. I gotta go. It was nice to see you. Have a great day. Ciao, Chi.